Hey again, it's Heather. We are continuing with the white supremacy culture patterns that have been described by Tima Okun. And we're moving on to the next one, which is the either or binary pattern. The idea that things are simple and easy, and it's this or that, and there are no alternatives. There's no and to that. It's either or. In the UK, this has shown up with leave or remain. We might ask, is a referendum where you have to vote yes or no an appropriate way to determine the best way forward in a relationship between the UK and the European Union? Perhaps that's too simplistic and difficult to say. What kind of relationship do you want if the only choices on the ballot are leave or remain? We see this happening with pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine, the dichotomy between Trump and Biden. And this kind of thinking can keep us quite divided, because if you're considered to criticize Biden, for example, then people can automatically think, well, then you must be a Trump supporter. And so to avoid that, you avoid criticizing Biden. And the same with Trump. You could have voted for Trump and then decided later that you have some criticisms of him, but you're scared to criticize him. This is where fear can come in again, because you don't want to lose your sense of belonging with the people around you who voted for Trump, so you don't speak up. And so it's difficult for people to have complex conversations about issues like vaccines and COVID and Brexit and US politics, because we are taught that it's good versus evil, the good guy, the bad guy. And we are not well equipped to deal with complexity. Again, this can come up because of trauma responses that we may have had for generations. The idea that something happened to particularly lighter skinned people on the planet thousands of years ago that left us feeling very scared, very separated from one another, a sense of scarcity on the planet, and then a sense of powerlessness. And those three aspects are something that Mickey Cashton describes often in her work. And so if we're left with that, we can't think clearly, we can't think in complex ways about what's going on in the world. And so it feels safer to make things as simple as possible and say this or that. I'm on this side or I'm on that side. And that means we're not going to have conversations about actual solutions or actual alternatives. It's shut down because of our fear and because of our lack of ability to do that critical thinking in a society such as ours, where we're kept in this kind of outrage mode and where we have to choose sides all the time. Have a pause there. I know that I definitely would have touched on an issue that's close to you in that section. Just notice that we don't need to be in a fight, freeze mode when we're talking about this. We're okay in this moment. And I encourage you, if you're in the Facebook group, to go to this unit on white supremacy culture patterns and share your reflections with other people who have been through this workshop or seen these videos. You can also book the workshop live so that you can do this with other people synchronously. Okay, the next patterns, denial and defensiveness. Because of patterns around perfectionism, around there being only one right way, we tend to see a lot of denial that there could be another way, that I did something wrong, defensive about what I'm doing. I get very defensive. We see this in workplaces where people try to speak up about what's happening, about problems they see with particular ideas, and the boss gets defensive. And so then we end up having to tiptoe around people. We know who's defensive, and we have to think and strategize about how to deal with that person. And so it creates fear in the workplace, because if we know that that defensiveness is there, we worry that we're going to lose our job if we challenge someone and they're defensive and they don't want to have to deal with that, and they don't want you. You're seen as someone like a troublemaker. You're seen as, you can even be scapegoated and blamed for what's happened because you brought it up, and then the actual content that you've brought up, the challenge, is ignored. Denial also shows up when people try to share their lived experience with other people. So it's when a person of color might say, that sounded racist, what you said, or this happened to me, this obviously negative thing happened. And then the other person says, no, that wasn't racist, or that wasn't a bad thing, or that didn't happen to you. So that kind of denial makes it obviously quite unsafe for people in workplaces and relationships in society to share their lived experiences, because they're not believed. I'll pause there. You might want to share your own experiences of this. Okay, the next set of patterns, the right to comfort. This in the workplace can be where it's people want to protect the comfort of the boss or the founder of an organization. And so they're scared to upset them. So they try to keep everything comfortable. They try not to challenge people too much. It's like people in power tend to have this privilege, this right to comfort, and people around them will go out of their way to keep them comfortable. This means that not all the information that people need in order to make good decisions is being shared, because there's a fear that by saying this, that person's not going to like it and is going to feel uncomfortable. Pause on that one. What do we avoid because it makes us feel uncomfortable? You could avoid all these workshops because each one has a goal of making you feel very uncomfortable. And one of my goals is to make you okay with feeling uncomfortable. Okay, another pattern is power hoarding. And this is when people in politics and organizations and workplaces and families like to hold the power. With parents, you could say, do that because I told you so. You're not sharing information. You're not making joint decisions. You're not collaborating. This ties in with the sense, paternalism that I know what's right for you. Therefore, I should be able to hold all the power to move resources around, whether that's money, ideas, people, infrastructure. I know better. And so I'm going to keep that power for myself. I do not want to share it. I'm afraid that I'll lose my status. I'll lose my sense of identity if I give up that power and instead work as a team, collaborate, hand over the allocation of resources to other people. Pause on that one. Share your reflections in the Facebook group on this unit. At the end of the video, there will be links to how to join the Facebook group or how to sign up for workshops to do this work with other people live. Okay, last in this video, before we break to go to another video, is fear of conflict. So here, fear turns up again. This is the idea that we really don't like conflict, so we avoid it. So we try to stay nice, try to ignore what we see going on. If there are tensions in the room, in the office, in the organization, in a political party, we ignore them. We just want them to go away. We cover them up. We don't bring them up. And if someone does bring it up, then we blame that person for bringing it up. We say, look, you're rude, you're inappropriate, you're a troublemaker. And we don't want, you don't belong here because of that. Because when you speak, it brings up a conflict. And we're not good at dealing with conflicts. So we do need to get good at how to deal with conflicts. And there are other workshops in this series that cover this around accountability and justice and convergent facilitation, which looks at how we can come up with solutions, make decisions collaboratively where everyone buys in, everyone understands why, and there's a willingness to follow through. Fear of conflict. What do we avoid in our relationships because we don't want there to be conflict, because we wouldn't know how to handle it? Pause on that. And we will stop this video here. Click on links. If you're interested, go to the next video with more patterns.